Most people think fixing cars is hard, but after 6 years of working on cars, I can tell you it's really not. But there's a few things you're gonna need to learn. And once you do, you'll be ready to fix your own car or learn to flip cars. So in this video, we're gonna talk about how to find out what's causing the problem, how to fix it without struggling, and how to do it for a cheap price. Let's get into it. The best part about learning to fix cars is that instead of paying a shop $1,000, you're going to be able to fix the problems for like $100 in a few hours of your time. And it's easier than most people think. All of it really is taking some bolts off, putting on a new part, and putting the bolts back on. So there's two ways to learn how to fix something. The first is finding write-ups online or YouTube videos. Practically any problem with your car there's going to be a person who posted online how to fix it. Then you just follow each step in order. Depending on what I'm trying to fix, I'll search the engine code and what causes it, or I'll just search for a video of someone doing the exact repair I'm about to do. It really gives me the confidence to know I'll be able to do it, and it helps a ton. The second way, without the internet, is to look at the part that needs to be replaced and look at the bolts you need to take off. There's usually only a few bolts and maybe a wire connection to get it off, and sometimes you might have to remove something else that's in the way so you can get to the bolts and what you're trying to fix. But that's really all it is, and then you just do it. Here's 3 tips to keep you on the right track so you don't mess anything up. 1, never pull too hard on something unless you're sure. If something's not coming off, there might be a bolt you missed and you don't want to break it because of that. 2, be sure to torque everything correctly. Multiple times I've thought I could get away with not torquing things, and then they end up coming loose later on. Luckily, I've never had anything bad go wrong, but I've heard some many stories of bolts not being torqued down and then the whole car breaking or whatever. And if you tighten bolts too much, you're going to strip the threads of the bolt hole, and it's really not a fun fix to do. You're going to be there for hours trying to figure out how to get the bolt out that's stripped, and then you're going to have to rethread the holes. You don't want to be in that situation. 3, don't give up and keep trying. You're gonna have to fix it, so might as well fix it now. All of this is about how to fix mechanical problems, but what about the cosmetic ones? Well, most of them are much easier to fix, like replacing an interior piece. It's usually a few bolts or clips and you're done. Then there's things like faded trim where you could paint it, or faded headlights where you just sand them and apply a coating and it'll look brand new. But there's a few things that are pretty hard, like repainting body panels or like replacing a bumper. These things take actual skill, and if it's your first time, it's pretty hard to do. A lot of the times I won't even do it. Once you've done quite a few repairs, you're going to gain the confidence to move on to harder tasks. And with enough time, you can really repair anything. And then you can decide if it's worth it to do it or if you should just pay someone else to. Like replacing tires, I've done maybe once, and it's just not worth it at all. There's no reason to do it. It requires expensive equipment. You can do it with cheap stuff, but it just takes way too long. So just pay a shop to do it. That's like $25. And then there's other repairs like alignments that just aren't that expensive, $100 at a shop, but they require $1,000 tools and stuff. So I don't know why you'd ever go buy the tool to do it yourself. Now here's something most people don't realize. If you actually want to get good at fixing cars, the best way is to work on multiple of them. To do that, buy one, learn to fix it, and then sell it for a profit. This is just flipping cars and you're learning, making money. It's a really good way to get confident and a lot faster at getting repairs done. If you don't know, my name's Lucky7 and I flipped cars since I was 14. And when I started, I would work on all types of cars. Cars would need new brakes or suspension or sensors replaced or check engine lights. And I would do all that stuff, having never done it before, and it was a great way to learn. And then I'd sell my cars and make thousands of dollars on it, and it was definitely how I recommend learning. And I'd go from doing repairs that would take 5 hours to being able to do them in only an hour. And after each car I flipped, I'd learn more and more, which led me to where I am now, where I can practically fix anything. The only major thing I haven't done is rebuild an engine or transmission, but I've put an engine in a car and I've done clutch repairs, which requires taking transmissions out. That's 100% the most you ever need to learn. But you really don't even need to get that far if you don't want to. And I like working on flip cars because I'm more motivated to do it, since at the end of it all, I get paid to resell it. Every car you flip is going to have different problems. One might need brakes, the next might need an alternator, one might have some sort of electrical issues. And each time you fix something, you add it to your skill set, and next time a car has that problem, you'll be able to do it right away. And after flipping 10 or so cars, you'll have touched almost every common repair and be much better at diagnosing the issue. And I'd say diagnosing the issue is the hardest part. Knowing what I know now is so valuable, since I'm never going to have to pay an overpriced mechanic, and anytime I can flip a car and make thousands. So if you want to speed up your learning, flip a car. even if you just do one. You'll be surprised how much you learn when there's profit waiting on the other side. To make flipping cars as easy as possible, it's best you track all your flips so you can look at your profit and hourly rate and learn to increase them so you make more money. So I built this totally free car flip tracker that'll take the cars you flipped and do all the calculations on all the numbers and give you the important statistics you need to know. And it keeps all your flips in one place. I linked it in the description if you want it. But when I first learned to fix cars was when I was 14, and it wasn't really by choice. I was so excited about having a first car. It was a Mustang I bought, and it was several months before I even learned how to drive. So that was a problem since I couldn't drive it. So I decided the next best thing was to touch up all over my car. And I did that by fixing it. It had quite a few problems and just needed to be freshened up. I considered bringing it to a shop, but I had no money left. I mean, in fact, I was in debt to my dad for a few $1,000s. That leaves the only option to fix it myself. When I bought the car, the seller told me it had a few problems and he told me exactly what to do to fix it from what his mechanic said. It needed an alternator, some spark plugs, and a sensor. So I got on my phone and started watching videos of people fixing Mustangs, but it was kind of overwhelming, so I decided I'd start with something easy, which was an oil change. I went in my dad's garage, grabbed some tools, and got right to work, which wasn't really that much. I just jacked up the car, took off the bolt to drain the oil, put the bolt back in, and filled it back up with new oil. I didn't even change the filter. But your first time working on cars can be as simple as that. It's something anyone can do for their first time in like an hour, and it's hard to mess up. I think that first time might have taken me close to 2 hours though, since I'd never worked on a car before. But now, an oil change takes me like 15 minutes. After doing that, you can start to try other things. Maybe change fluids, replace your battery, or just replace a broken cosmetic piece. And if that's too much, you can literally just detail the interior of a car. And once you get that down, you can go on to harder things like alternator, brake pads, starter, stuff like that. But there was a problem with my situation. I already knew what to fix since I was told by the previous owner, so all I had to do was watch a YouTube video and follow it step by step. But I had no clue how to diagnose problems. Like if my car has a weird noise or check engine light, I did not know what to do. So if your car has a weird noise coming from it, how do you know what that means? Well, the first step is to focus on the issue you notice. There's a noise and it shouldn't be happening. Is it not driving like it normally does? Is the check engine light on? Let's just say the check engine light's on. The only way to figure out what it means is by using an OBD2 scanner. And if you don't have one, you should buy one. These ones are like the #1 tool I recommend anyone to have. You can get a cheap one for $15 that just tells you the basics. Or you can even go to a local auto parts store and they'll scan your car for free. Now all you do is plug the scanner in under the steering wheel and it gives you an engine code. Normally, the code comes up with a short description of the problem, something like P0441, emissions incorrect purge flow. So knowing you have an emissions problem is a start, but it's not as simple as just replacing a part and it's fixed. There's several things that can cause this code to pop up, so you don't want to go through all the things and replace them and just hope one of them fixes it. It's better to know the exact thing that causes it, and then you can only replace that. You save time and money. There's 3 ways to narrow it down. Option 1 is read online threads and websites. All you do is search up the engine code with your car's make and model, and you'll find people talking about your specific car, and usually there's 1 or 2 common things that will cause it. And so you just read through what they have to say about it, and they'll usually recommend the cheapest and most likely first thing you should replace first. All you do from there is search up a YouTube video and watch someone replacing that exact part on your exact car, and then hopefully it's fixed. Option 2 is pay a shop to diagnose the problem, then fix it yourself. Usually they might charge around $100 to tell you the exact thing causing your problem. So you take that exact thing causing your problem, you replace it or fix it, and then your car's done. It just helps you confirm what's wrong so you don't have to do extra work, replace all these parts that you don't even know if they're gonna fix it. Option 3, diagnose it yourself. Instead of it taken to the mechanic, you learn what the mechanic would have done, and you do exactly that. This is the hardest method since for each problem cars have, there's different ways to diagnose them, and a lot of them are going to require tools you don't have that test out the car. Some of them even costing thousands of dollars just to diagnose a simple fix. This way takes more skill, but if you can go with this way, it's much better instead of just guessing what's likely going to be the fix, but it does take some experience. You can also get a Carfax, which I'll give you one for completely free. It's linked in the description. It's going to help you know if your car's been in an accident or had anything major wrong happen with it, which can help you narrow down what the issue is. Now, what if your car doesn't have an engine light on, but you notice something unusual? Let's say it's a noise. Start by identifying where the noise is coming from. Normally, it might be the engine bay or around the wheels. Let's say it's from the engine bay, it's probably mechanical, and if it's from around the wheels, it's probably related to the brakes or suspension. A squeaking noise usually comes from brakes, a belt, a worn out part. Ticking noises might be as simple as needing more oil, or you might need a new engine. Grinding noises are often issues with brakes, transmission, or bearing, and hissing is normally a leak. But one of the most common problems I see, especially in cars that are like 20 years old, is fluid leaks. When you don't know what to look for and you look in the engine bay and just see a ton of oil everywhere, it can definitely get confusing and seems impossible to know where it's coming from. But once you understand it, it's very easy to find the leaking spot. Before doing anything, go to the top of the leak, like find where the oil starts and then drips down. So if you look for the oil under your car and see it here, follow it up till it stops showing any oil. And doing this narrows down where it's coming from. If the engine's right here and the oil's right here, look around all along this level and you'll start to see spots that it could be leaking from. So then look around there and usually you'll see a hose, a gasket, or a part that's all covered in oil. This is where your leak's coming from. If you can't figure it out, you can clean off the area and see if it starts to leak again right away. And if it doesn't, you can start your car or you can drive it around for 5 minutes and then check again. And if it still doesn't come back, check the next day. If it's still not there, it could have been an old leak that was already fixed. Or someone might have spilt oil when refilling it, so it never even had a leak. But if it comes back, with it being clean, it's much easier to see where it's coming from. You literally just look where it's coming from. From there, all you do is replace the part or fix the issue. But without the right tools, you aren't going to be able to. Many people go crazy at this point and they spend tons of money on every tool, but that's not really the way to go about it. To start, you only need a tool set, a torque wrench, a jack. And if you find a specific tool that you don't already have and it's not too expensive, you can buy it. And if it's expensive, but you expect to use it a ton of times, buy it. But avoid over-investing in tools you aren't going to need. For expensive or specialized tools, you can also sometimes borrow them from auto shops or you can rent them. And if they don't have it, you can take your car to a shop and have them fix it because it's not worth spending thousands on a crazy tool. So now you have the tools, but you still need cheap parts. But where do you find the parts and how can you get them at a good price? When it comes to getting parts, you have two options, OEM and aftermarket parts. OEM parts are the original parts that the car came with. They're made by the company, they're reliable, and generally the best choice, but they can be a little more expensive. And for things like starters and spark plugs and ignition coils and some electronics, I'll usually go with OEM because those things are important. But aftermarket parts are made by third-party companies. They're a much better deal, but they don't always last as long. But things like batteries or brake pads, hoses, fluids, all that's totally fine. By thinking about each repair, you can decide which parts to use, balancing cost and quality. And if there's a refurbished OEM part, I'd rather buy that than buy a new aftermarket one. To find the ones that are priced right, you can either look up the OEM part number and find the cheapest option, or you can search the car's model and the part name to find the aftermarket version. And when you're buying aftermarket, always look at the reviews since they'll tell you if the part is reliable or if it's worth it to just pay for OEM. Some of the best sites to find parts are like Rock Auto, eBay, Amazon, carparts.com. And if you end up replacing the part and the issue isn't fixed, most parts come with a warranty, so you can usually just return them. And other ways to find parts is by going to the junkyard and taking it off a similar car, or finding part outs on Facebook. Most of the time, I end up going to the auto parts store since I get them the same day and I can just fix it right then. It does cost a bit more than paying online, but it's worth the convenience. Now that you know all that, there's something I haven't told you yet that could make you thousands. So check out this video where I show you which cars are actually worth flipping so you can make the most money. And as always, I'm wishing you a lucky day.